Okay, so let's get right into it. It's that time of year, and for so many of us, that means setting a goal to learn a new language. But we're going to do it differently this time. Forget just saying, I want to learn a language. We're actually going to build a blueprint for success that works.
You know the story, right? January kicks off with all this excitement, but by the time March rolls around, that language app is just sitting on your phone, unopened. Well, the problem usually isn't about desire, it's about not having a real plan. And that often starts with a few myths we tell ourselves. So first things first, let's clear those out of the way.
Okay, first up, the big one, the age myth. The idea that only kids can soak up languages like a sponge is just flat out not true. Think about it. As an adult, you've already mastered an entire language, your native one. That gives you this huge head start that babies don't have. You get concepts like grammar and context. You just need the right method for the adult brain.
And then there's the classic memory excuse. But here's the secret. Memory isn't some superpower you're born with. It's a skill. It's like a muscle. You remember things way better when they actually mean something to you and when you're really paying attention. So it's not about having a good or bad memory. It's about training your memory in an effective way.
And finally, we have to talk about the ghost of high school language class. For a lot of us, that experience was not great. But here's the thing. The classroom was probably the problem, not you. School forces everybody into the same box, the same curriculum, but that was then. Now you are in the driver's seat. You get to build a study routine that plays to your strengths and fits your life.
All right, now that we've busted those myths, here's our game plan. We're going to look at the resolution trap, find your personal why, build a SMART goal, unpack the huge difference between regular practice and deliberate practice, give you a practical toolkit, and show you how your journey can start, well, right now. Okay, Section 2, Finding Your Why. Now, before you even start thinking about flashcards or grammar rules, the what or the how, you absolutely need a powerful personal why. Seriously, this is the fuel that's going to keep your engine running when motivation naturally dips. And check this out. There's some incredible data on this. A long-term study at Harvard followed a class of students, and they found that the tiny 3% who actually wrote down their goals ended up earning 10 times more than the other 97% combined. That just shows you the insane power of making a goal real and putting it on paper. So, right now, pause and grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. What is your real reason? Is it to finally connect with your grandparents in their native language? To travel through Southeast Asia and not feel like a tourist? To land that promotion at work? Don't just think it, write it down. Be specific. This one simple act turns a vague wish into a real, tangible target. It changes everything.
Let's move on to part 3, building a SMART goal. Now that you have your why, your motivation, we need to build the how. See, a vague goal is basically a recipe for giving up. So we're going to take that motivation and sharpen it into a plan you can actually follow. I want you to meet your new best friend, the SMART goal. Each letter in this acronym, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound, acts like a filter. It takes a fuzzy idea like, I want to learn English, and turns it into a crystal-clear target that you can actually aim for and hit. And here's what that transformation looks like in the real world. Learn English. That's just a wish. It has no direction. But reach an A2 level in English in 6 months so I can communicate on my trip to London? Now that is a mission. You see the difference? It has a target, a deadline, and a purpose. So how do you make your goals specific and measurable? Well, you need a benchmark, and that's where something called the CEFR comes in. It's just a framework that defines language ability with practical I can statements. So, aiming for an A2 level means you can say, I can introduce myself, or I can handle a simple conversation at a shop. It's perfect for something like a trip.
Okay, on to part 4, practice versus deliberate practice. You've got your mission, you've got your why, but a great plan is totally useless without the right engine to actually move you forward. And that brings us to what might be the single most important idea for making real, noticeable progress.
Look, we all practice, but not all practice is the same, not even close. Mindlessly repeating phrases while you're half watching TV, that's what leads to that feeling of being stuck on a plateau. Deliberate practice, on the other hand, is when you are actively, with 100% of your focus, trying to push just beyond your current comfort zone.
And here are the key ingredients. Deliberate practice isn't just random studying. It has to be motivated, it demands intense concentration on one specific little skill, and, this is crucial, it needs a feedback loop.
You need to know if you're doing it right, whether that feedback comes from a teacher, an app, or even you correcting yourself. Then you repeat and get a little bit better.
This quote from the psychologist K. Anders Ericsson, the guy who basically invented the concept, nails it. He says, it's the concentration that's key. This kind of practice is supposed to be effortful. It's not about just passively consuming the language or going through the motions. It is a highly focused workout designed for one thing, to make you better.
Now, for Section 5, your A2 Learner's Toolkit. I know that intense concentration might sound a little, well, intense, but let's make it super practical. What does deliberate practice actually look like for someone who's aiming for that A2 level? Here are some fantastic, actionable techniques.
These aren't just boring drills. They're basically simulations for real life. Doing a role play where you order food forces you to think on your feet. Describing a picture in detail builds your vocabulary for the world around you. Information gap exercises with a partner make you ask really specific questions, and guided storytelling helps you string your thoughts together. Each one is a focused workout for a real-world skill.
And when it comes to building your vocabulary, your absolute secret weapon is something called spaced repetition. It's a scientifically proven technique that basically hacks your brain's natural tendency to forget things. You can use an app for this. It's like a super smart flashcard system that shows you difficult words more often until they stick, pushing them into your long-term memory way more efficiently than just cramming.
And that brings us to our final section. Your journey starts now. So, there you have it. We've busted the myths that hold people back, we've found our why, we've built a SMART goal, and we put together a toolkit for effective practice. It's time to put all these pieces together and actually launch.
If you take only one thing away from all this, please let it be this. Stop asking yourself if you're good at languages. That is the wrong question entirely. Learning a language is not a talent you're born with. It's a skill, just like learning to cook or play the guitar. With a smart plan and consistent, focused effort, anyone can build that skill. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Your journey doesn't start tomorrow or on Monday. It starts right now. Look at the SMART goal you wrote down. Based on that goal, what is one small 15-minute deliberate practice session you can do today? Answering that question, that's your first step. Go for it.